Welcome into KSU Nation, the best K-State and Big 12 podcast out there. I'm Stevie B.
And I'm Kenny G.
And in today's episode, we're going to talk about some K-State sports happening recently, do our Big 12 power rankings and more. Before we do that, though, Kenny, let her know about the sub button and more.
Yep, go ahead, do the thing. You know what to do. That's it.
That's it.
That's
yep.
it.
And if you guys want to throw some money our way, we would appreciate it. A little super chatty. Join the channel, all of that. Let's go and get right into it, Kenny. Some big news over the weekend. K-State beats KU.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I shaved my face, but that too.
Look at this face. Look at this baby face. What happened, bro?
Man, I got in a huge fight with the Clippers, and they won. And I said, might as well go to the store, buy some Mach 3 blades, and finish the job myself. I wasn't going to go out like a punk, man. I was just going to go all the way. But, yep.
Kenny and I did hang out this weekend, and we'll talk about that here in about 5-10 minutes. First up, biggest news recently. Connor Riley goes to the NFL. He is now the O-line coach for the Dallas Cowboys. K-State promotes from within, promotes its quarterback coach, Matt Wells, who was a co-OC to the new offensive coordinator. Kenny, your thoughts on this? To me, I think this is a great move for K-State. I really do.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this, Steve. I think I told you in a text message, my initial thoughts were I was pissed. Mainly because now I understand Connor Riley is maybe he wasn't the best fit for our offensive coordinator job, but I still think that he needed to at least get 1 year under his belt to sort of establish get a feel for it. And he's regarded as one of the best offensive line coaches out there. The thing that concerns me the most about it, now I know we've had Matt Wells in this last year, sort of integrated in, the quarterback coach role, offensive coordinator, whatever it is. He wasn't the one calling the plays, but he had shared some kind of role with Connor Riley. But the thing that bothers me, and I'll get right into it, this coming year would be Avery Johnson's third offensive coordinator since he's joined K-State. That is kind of frustrating for me because usually an offensive coordinator and a quarterback usually have to, have some time to gel. Now, I did say, I did mention that Matt Wells has been with the team, has been working with Avery this last year. So it's not like a completely brand new person out of left field that they have not, have zero chemistry with. It's just, I'm kind of on the fence, Steve. It's like one of them. It's like one of those things where I just want continuity, and you saw that we didn't really meet our potential or we didn't read our expectations, but we didn't fall off the cliff, we met the standard of getting at least 8 wins. And, you have to at least be okay with that, but you want much more. You want to have much more out of your team, especially when you've got this much talent and the expectations. So do I think that Matt Wells has what it takes? Sure. Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see. But after seeing a whole season with Connor Riley, there were times where you and I were we weren't crazy about the play calls, but there were a lot of times where we're like, you know what? The play was there. The call was there. The execution was bad. And I feel like with Connor Riley's offensive coordinator role this last season, it was more of the failed execution rather than the play calling. So I just hope that Matt Wells at least continues in the right direction. I you just have to hope that this is the best move for everybody. I mean, of course, it's going to be the best move for Connor Riley. I mean, he's going to the NFL. That's legit. I mean, I have a suspicion that maybe Cooper Beebe had something to do with that. I hope not. But I mean, you never know. I'm sure Cooper Beebe probably threw his name in the hat for sure. But yeah, man, I really hope that this is the best move moving forward. I mean, Matt Wells is a QB coach. And you know, Colin Klein, he was a QB. So you know, this could be a good sign. I mean, I'm always gonna hope for the best and be optimistic, but I am very, very cautious about this move and about my optimism here. It's like, man, Connor Riley ended the season really well. Like, we saw the preview of what next season could potentially look like. The play calls were way different without DJ Giddens in the lineup. And it was like, man, like, it was kind of getting me excited a little bit. But again, we'll have to see.
You know, from a Connor Riley standpoint, when the NFL calls, I mean, it's hard to say no when you're only coaching. You're not doing any recruiting hardly at all. And once you're in the NFL, like, you're there. Like, if there's ever a new coach for the Cowboys, now he has an NFL team on his resume. He can go be another O-line coach for another NFL team, right? And, you know, just think about what 5, 6, 7 years ago, he was still at North Dakota State coaching the O-line. So he's went from FCS to a Big 12 champion to offensive coordinator. Now is for the Dallas Cowboys, which is obviously one of the biggest franchises in the NFL. So I don't blame him at all for leaving, especially when you go from being an OC. And there's a lot of people putting you down all the time because they don't agree with your calls, to just going back and coaching the O-line, which is probably a lot more fun and a lot easier and a lot more stress-free, right? So from that standpoint, I mean,
the target's off your back, you know?
Yeah. And then from the, you know, moving on to Matt Wells, I think it's a great hire. I mean, you know, he's been with the system now for a year. Honestly, I always felt like the offensive coordinator should be the quarterback's coach, because the offensive line coach should be down there just coaching the O-line, right? Talking to them, because I feel like at some points this past season, K-State's offensive line struggled because Riley was too worried about the play calls, and he had a hard time juggling both. When you're the quarterback coach, all you're thinking about is a play call, right? Like, where's the read? What's a play call? Should you have checked to something else? All of that. So I've always felt like the OC should be the quarterback's coach. And, you know, he's coached Jordan Love, who's with the Green Bay Packers now, starting quarterback. He's been a head coach before. He knows the system now. I kind of wonder how much of his play calling was added specifically for the bowl game, where K-State scored 44 points, and it looked really good doing it. I mean, he's a QB coach for Avery Johnson, and if you go down here and take a look, you know, he broke the school record for passing touchdowns in a season with 25. He had 7 rushing touchdowns to 32 total touchdowns and 3,300 total yards. That's pretty good. And I'm excited to see what he can do as a full-time OC. I wonder, though, who they're going to have replace Riley as an offensive line coach. I've heard a lot of names. Drew Little, who used to coach at K-State, or play at K-State, I should say, and a bunch of other names as well. I'm more intrigued by that because I honestly felt like, you know, once Riley left, it was pretty obvious they were going to replace him with the co-OC, Matt Wells. So I think it's a good hire. I agree. I think you want some continuity, and I think that's why they promoted from within, right? Sticking with a guy who's been with Avery Johnson for a year, and who's really probably helped a lot with the play calls. And so I think it's a good, solid choice for K-State. I really do.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously a decision like this doesn't just really come out of the blue. I think Connor Riley had probably been in talks with NFL teams for a bit. And hey, it's good for Matt Wells. I mean, this is probably what he wanted in his trajectory of his career. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm just going to echo what you said about Connor Riley. You know, when the NFL calls, you go for it. The only thing that happens from there on out is just promotions, or, you know, side grades, you know, because he could be offensive line coach for a bunch of teams and then come back to the college, and, you know, D1 college, and maybe be a head coach somewhere. I mean, that's a possibility. You know, he could, I mean, look at Andy Reid. I mean, he was an offensive line coach for BYU, and then now he's Super Bowl like Hall of Famer, like, head coach, and shout out to the Eagles for winning the Super Bowl. Chiefs fans, I hope you're doing all right. It was a crazy game, but yeah, not to get too sidetracked, but yeah, congratulations, Wells. I think I'm not saying that he's not going to do a good job. I'm not saying that he would be worse than Connor Riley. I just I hate moving parts, especially when I keep talking about 2025 being the year of K-State. You just want your team to succeed, and changing OCs is always tough. But yeah, you're right. Having at least Wells get promoted within, he's already been coaching Avery, and I hope this works out great. I really do, and I hope he stays. I hope he stays.
And shout out to Robbie Schultz. I think Wells was calling more plays in the bowl game. I'm sad that we lost Riley, but excited for him and his family. Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
And going into the first game of the year against Iowa State, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunch of new wrinkles within the offense with a new OC. And we all know that Iowa State starts off not very good. So I think this is actually kind of good to get a little bit of new blood, but still have the same system within place. So,
yeah.
I don't think that many. O-line is not like wide receivers, man. They're not prima donnas. So,
yeah, and don't forget that. Chris Kleiman is a defensive coach, but he emphasizes heavily in recruiting for line. So he's talked about that before. That their priority at K-State is to make sure that they're recruiting in the trenches first and foremost, which is important. I think I think it's like a no-brainer. I think you have to do that. You have to establish that foundation in every team. So, I mean, because you saw what happened with Colorado. I mean, yeah, they won a lot of games, but their schedule is kind of favorable to them. But man, the amount of sacks that Shador had to endure, the pressure. I mean, that offensive line was not the greatest, and so we'll have to see. Did you see, talking about Colorado? Did you see that they've got a NFL running back coach coming in, or he was an NFL running back?
I'm not surprised, man. They have all NFL coaches as their coaches, or former NFL players as their
former
coaches.
NFL player running back is coming in to be the running back coach for Colorado. That's wild to me. Wild.
That is wild. Moving on. Let's talk about a big win and the Sunflower Showdown this past weekend. I'm Stevie B. This is Kenny G. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends. Kenny, you and I were together to watch this awesome game. We watched it at Willie's Hideout in St. George, Kansas. K-State wins 81-73. We had a great time watching this. This was the most stress-free K-State KU basketball game I think I've ever seen, man. K-State was leading for 37 minutes out of the 40. K-State ends up winning by 8. They were up by as many as 14 points in the second half. Kenny, this was a great win for K-State. And both you and I called it, man. We both called it, and K-State scored 81.
I mean, the 81, man. The 81 scores the last couple weeks have been hilarious. But man, you're right. I honestly, I mean, we had another buddy of ours there, and I remember just not even paying attention to the game a majority of the time because we were just chatting it up. And then we would just glance over the screen. We see, K-State was still dominating.
Oh, I was watching. I was very in touch with it. You guys were talking a lot, but I was watching.
Yeah, your eyes were glued, but it was just, you're right, man. I wasn't worried. It seemed like K-State just put the foot on the gas pedal, never let off. And I think what we have to establish here is David Gasson has been pretty much the rock in this team. He has sort of established himself as like the guy that has been the most consistent out of everybody on the team, and I feel like he really shined today or in this game. And he's been this way all season long, and it's nice to see that the team has finally figured out a chemistry, a play style, an identity really to sort of complement David Gasson, and just matching his effort, matching his energy. It was very sloppy in the beginning of the season, and K-State is doing something that I don't think I've ever seen a team do in college basketball, in at least in recent history, probably ever, where mid-season they have just hit a switch. I mean, they lost to Liberty, they lost to St. John's, they lost to Wichita State, and they start the conference play with like 1-6.
Yep.
And now they're on a 5-game winning streak with like 2 or 3 out of their last 5 being ranked against ranked opponents. But while they were ranked, West Virginia, Iowa State, and KU, and 2 of those teams are in the top 10, I believe, in the country. And it's like, I've never seen a team just hit a switch like this mid-season.
They still have a lot of work to do. They still have a lot of work to do.
Got a lot of work to do, Steve. But man, they're looking like some of the best. That's looking like some of the best basketball I've seen at the college level. They are on a heater. They are literally popping off right now.
David Gasson was named Big 12 Player of the Week, averaging 21 points per game. He had 20 against KU, 7 rebounds. All 5 starters, again, were basically carrying the load. After him, Doug McDaniel, man, that guy's been baller. 15 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds. Dude,
his ball handling skills are unbelievable. His handles make people look silly out there.
He looks like Marquise Noel, man. He does.
I would venture to say his handles are a little bit better. I think Marquise Noel was better at game management and knowing like how to get the playoff. But like, I think Doug McDaniel's handles are just nasty. I mean, he is just bobbing and weaving through everyone on just making everybody look silly out there, making them look like they're not, like, this is KU. We're not talking about some Colorado team. Like, he was doing this against KU players. The steals were great. The turnovers were great. The execution was nice. And again, you can't what's the word I'm looking for?
Underestimate?
Not underestimate, but you can't understate. You can't make an understatement on David Gasson's offensive rebounds, the defensive rebounds. I mean, I think everybody kind of shared that. Like Coleman Hawkins, I saw getting a few.
Coleman Hawkins is all over the place, man. And I'm going to say this, and I would not have said this 2 months ago. I think he's worth $2 million.
Yep.
He is everywhere. He is doing everything, making shots when we need it, getting rebounds when we need it. Dude, 5 blocked shots. 5 blocked shots.
Yeah, I mean, he's delivering the ball. He's delivering the ball in very creative ways.
8 assists.
He's doing just fantastic. But also, Doug McDaniel is also doing that too. Like he's able to create, like he has this speed about him. I feel like that's sort of unlocked the offense a lot, where like we can get set up quicker. And he's like, again, his ball handling skills, the way he delivers the ball, he can deliver it to different players. And it's looking really good, man. We're looking really good now. And I think we should be at least considered. I think that a lot of people are saying that like Cincinnati is still considered over us, which is wild to even think about. But
non-con matters, man. The non-con matters. But
yeah, they have the easiest non-con ever.
If K-State can continue to win, and the schedule's pretty favorable after Arizona, I think things are looking pretty good. Shout out to CJ Jones coming in off the bench, scoring 7 big points. I called him to have 10. It was pretty close. Pretty close.
One more 3 would have put him over.
So. Yeah. And he was 1 for 3. I had K-State winning 81-75. They win 81-73, so it's pretty close there. Yeah, man, K-State's looking good, man, and I'm excited to finally be excited to watch a K-State game now.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually like it's just it's weird, but it's kind of cool at the same time that every single game is must win games. Even this Arizona one, I mean, I think some people say that K-State can afford to lose a couple. I'm not saying that. I want K-State to win every single game. I want them to end their season on a 10 or 11 game win streak. That would be what I would expect with the way that they're playing right now. As long as they stay consistent and there aren't any injuries, I can see K-State easily beating all these other teams.
Here's the schedule right here. Actually, let me just pull this up. This is gonna look even easier.
I mean, you got Coleman, Hawkins, like all over the place.
This is the remaining schedule. Arizona, at BYU, at Utah, Arizona State at home, which K-State is already beaten, at UCF, winless Colorado coming to town, and then at Cincinnati, Iowa State at home. Honestly, the two hardest games are at home. You know, I think K-State needs to go 6-2 or better. And then if they go 6-2, they need to win at least one, if not two, in the Big 12 tournament. If they go 8-0, they don't have to do anything. They don't. My opinion. Your thoughts?
I want them to go undefeated the rest of the.
Okay. That would be a 13-game win streak.
A 13-game win streak is what I want to see. Damn, tickets as low as $43 at BYU. My God.
Their fans are crazy.
Yep.
Love it.
That's cool though.
Yeah, K-State's playing really good basketball right now. And like I said, I'm excited. Yeah, K-State wins the series. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
and if they make a deep run in the Big 12 playoff, in the tournament, yeah, like more
wins is better for the resume.
Yeah, more wins. I want to see them. I want to see them make a statement. You know what's funny is I did see, I think it was like a Twitter post by a Cyclones fan, and he was saying after they won. And first of all, if you want pure entertainment, Steve, just go read KU's.
Oh my God!
Just go read their stuff, man. They're like, K-State has won three times in the last 3 years.
First time it's happened in 40 years. So that's pretty
since
crazy.
Like 81, 82, 83 or something like that.
Yep.
They're like, they don't even rush the court when they win. Let that sink in, KU fans. Bill Self needs to retire. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, they want Self gone.
That's hilarious. But like, I saw that there was a Cyclone fan that was like, you see, this is what happens when you pay, like when you just open up the checkbook.
Now it's all everyone's the same now, right?
And it's like, oh, they're like, yeah, K-State's winning because they just pay their players. And it's like, did you not see the first half of our season?
Right.
It didn't work for a while. It took a
way too long. It took too long.
And we're still like not even considered, like it's a 5% chance or something like that.
Less than 5% chance.
That's crazy. And they're like sitting there thinking like, you see, like this is what happens when you pay players. They just, all you got to do is just pay players. I'm like, dude, it didn't work for a while. It's working now.
Right.
But, it took a little too long. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got, man. I think that was a great win for K-State. Yeah. I mean, you got to love beating your in-state rival 3 years in a row. I mean,
at home.
That's not happened in 30 years. I mean, K-State keeps beating KU in football 16 straight years. I mean, it's great. It's a great day to be a Wildcat. So.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and we're actually going to do this. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up. Okay. Go back. And okay.
Yeah, we actually were just talking about that before we started the show. Like, I've got to work through this winter storm.
Yep. And I think they're going to cancel school 1 or 2 days, which I would be very happy with, considering I have to drive an hour to work.
I'm actually not happy when that happens because it totally screws up my week when
Yep,
they
I
cancel
know.
schools because I deliver to schools. So it just throws everything into a massive mess for me. But I get it. I get it for teachers. It's nice. You can stay home.
Yep.
Rain or shine, snow or sleet, I'm out there driving. So
There you go. Let's get right into our K-State versus Arizona score predictions here. I'm Stevie B. This is Kenny J. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends. Consider joining the channel. ESPN has Arizona winning a shockingly 76% of the time. This is Tuesday, February 11th at 7 o'clock at not Bill Center Family Stadium, at Bramlage Coliseum. The Octagon of Doom.
saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. I think this is
saying there's
about
a
the same
chance.
percentage they gave K-State versus KU as well. Arizona is the co-leader in the Big 12 at 11-1, tied with Houston. Caleb Love is their leading scorer, 16.3 points per game. Kenny, I'm going to go to you first. What's your score prediction? And then I'll go second, and then we'll do our hot takes. Wildcats versus Wildcats.
Yeah, this is the the Whisker rivalry. Wildcat War, right? Wildcat War, is that right? Look, K-State's on a heater. This is going to be a big test for Arizona and K-State both because you got one team who is really consistent, has a great, resume right now, and like you said, is tied for first in the conference. Both teams played Iowa State really well. I think thanks to Arizona is what caused us to beat Iowa State at their home. Having them beat them the way they did, very impressive. But look, K-State at home. They said it even on the broadcast that Bramlage Coliseum. Yeah, I know. K-State, they were talking it on the broadcast. Bramlage Coliseum, one of the hardest environments to play in. K-State fans are no joke. We love our athletic sports. I mean, we love it here, and we're very, very dedicated to our teams. And so, anytime you come to Manhattan, Kansas, you better be prepared. We've got very loud fans, very passionate fans, and we're going to be up for this because again, K-State's on a heater, and every game from here on out is a must-win game. K-State, we've said that they've got the most talented team K-State's had in a very long time, and they're starting to show it now. And it's looking like their team has finally come together, and they figured out their identity. I've got K-State winning 75-69.
Say that one more time.
75-69.
Dude, that's a great score. That's a great score. Okay. I agree with everything you said. K-State needs to win this game. It means a lot more for them in terms of making the postseason NCAA tournament. Arizona's already in. Arizona could probably lose almost every game the rest of the season. They're not going to, and this will be in. Now, Arizona wants to win the Big 12 conference, and you gotta win this game if you want to do that. So it's a big game for both teams. But you're not watching KSU Nation to hear me pick against the K-State Wildcats. You're just not. So I'm going to have K-State winning 78-72. Also a 6-point margin of victory.
There we go.
And we're now getting to our hot takes, what we think is the hottest of the hot takes that could potentially happen. I'm going to go first. I have Caleb Love under 12 points in this game. K-State's going to play some pretty good defense. And then on the offensive side for K-State, I have Coleman Hawkins with 20 points.
Okay. Coleman Hawkins is going to get, I'll say, let's go 8 rebounds. No. Let's give Coleman Hawkins. I'm going to give Coleman Hawkins. I think he's going to be totally up for this. Let's give him a triple-double. A triple-double.
Dude.
Let's go. Triple-double. Keck W, I know. I'm sure my wife is going to say something about my facial hair being gone, and my daughter has already said something. Look, it doesn't take long for it to grow back. I will have a shadow in a couple hours.
You guys ever seen that the Santa Claus movie where like he shaves his face and it comes right back? That's Kenny.
Yeah, my facial hair grows back so fast. Next week when we do our show, it'll be all back. Trust me. So, yeah,
So
that
triple double for Coleman Hawkins.
triple double for Coleman Hawkins. I'm going to call this as his best game of the year will be this game.
Love it. And that
Up
is
to date until they play Colorado. Then there's going to probably be like 4 or 5 triple doubles.
Yep. And that's the K-State Arizona game score predictions and hot takes. There's just one last segment to do. I think we are a little bit more ready to handle this, but probably still not that much. We're going to get into our Big 12 power rankings post. I don't even know what week it is. We'll say post week.
Stevie, we got some heat the last one that we did.
Post week 6.
We took some heat.
Dude,
we had some comments in the comment section that were like, don't ever do a power rankings again.
Clown show. This show is Clown City. Look, guys, chill it. Cool your brakes. All right. Cool your jets. Okay, let's get into our Big 12 power rankings. We'll see where we put Texas Tech fans who are calling us out all week in the comments, like Kenny said. Okay. I think it's pretty obvious, blatantly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado 16.
Colorado 17.
Colorado 17. That's amazing. Okay. Where do you go from here? Do you go Arizona State, who could have beaten K-State if not for a couple missed free throws, or do you do something else at 15?
I still think UCF is not that great. I'm going to probably go UCF.
I'm going to go Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bryce Thompson is pretty good. But outside of that, I don't think their team is that good. I think the coach at Arizona State is better. I think I'm going to put them at 14, and then UCF at 13. I think UCF is actually better than a lot of people say they are. They got Mikey Williams down there. I think they're pretty good. Even though they're 4-8 and 13-10, they're scary. They're one of the games that I'm not looking forward to K-State traveling to in a couple weeks. I got them at 13. What do you got?
I mean,
14 13.
I think I'll go Oklahoma State at 14 and Arizona State 13.
Yeah, I mean, they're all pretty interchangeable down at the bottom 4. So
right.
Moving on to the next 4. We got to come up with names for like each 4, right? Like the bottom 4, the next 4, the middle of the pack, and then the top 4, the elite or whatever.
Bottom 4, dog shit. Next 4, stale. We'll call it like flat soda.
Flat soda. Okay.
Yeah, and then like maybe the second to top 4 will go
mid.
I don't know.
We'll just call it mid.
We'll call it mid, and then the top is elite. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go Cincinnati at 12. Even though they won a couple of games, I still think they're not that good. They kind of melted in for a while. I got them at 12.
I'm going Utah.
I'm going Utah at 11.
And
I'll
throw in TCU. And then I'll go Cincinnati.
We are pretty interchangeable here.
Yeah.
Interchangeable. And then who's the last team in this stale tier? Is it K-State? Is it BYU? Is it West Virginia? Or is it someone else?
It's not K-State if we're talking about what they've been putting out recently. So K-State is in the mid tier for sure. But
I'm going West Virginia because they just lost like their star scorer, who happens to be the coach's son. So I'm going West Virginia at number 9.
Yeah, it's it's one of those where I'm like, do I go West Virginia? Do I go BYU? BYU is still considered on the bubble or whatever. So I have to go West Virginia. I think I agree with you on this one.
Okay.
It's the reason, and I wanted people to understand like our logic here. You can't put K-State in this position because they just beat KU at home, KU in-state rival, 3 years in a row. Hasn't happened in over 40 years.
They've beaten West Virginia. They've won at Iowa State. I mean, you can't put them below a team they beat.
Exactly. And they're on a 5-game win streak. So they're on a heat. They won against Arizona State. They beat Cincinnati. They've, we'll see. I mean, they lost to TCU, but that was by 1 point. And that was early on in the season where K-State they weren't figuring it out then. They've totally figured it out now. Whatever is going on with K-State, which I think I'm going to put them probably at 8 right now.
I agree.
I can't put them above BYU just yet.
I agree. BYU 7?
Yeah, BYU's got to be 7.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, here's where I'm at.
Although, even though I just made a case about the recency bias, what I'm trying to get at is recency bias can't be everything, but it has to be something. Like, it has to be something.
Of those 3 teams that are 6-6, which team is the hottest team? K-State.
Yeah,
which one of those teams might be the best team? That is up for debate. It could be BYU because of their record so far this year, being the same as West Virginia. But the Mountaineers didn't just lose, the Cougars did not just lose their leading scorer like the Mountaineers did. So
well, and then on top of that, like, recency bias should mean something because where a team ends is more important than how they start.
Yep.
You see it all over the place. It's not just basketball. You see it. Take the Super Bowl, for instance. The Chiefs just lost the Super Bowl after being like having the best record out of all the years they went to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
They only lost 2 games in the regular season. Or actually, they only lost 2 games, period. We're not going to count the one against Denver. That doesn't even count. They weren't even playing there. So, yeah, that's amazing. So, anyway, number 6, moving on. Number 6. So that was the mid. Oh, we got 2 more in the mid tier. I got you.
2 more in the mid tier. This is where it gets tricky. It gets real tricky.
KU.
I'm tempted to do that as well because Baylor beat them. Iowa State beat them. K-State just beat them as well. They're not looking good. They've lost
West Virginia beat them
4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 or something really stupid. So I'm going to go KU at number 6 as well.
Dude, KU's been like they've been the most inconsistent, best team in,
I think
ranked
they still have a ton of talent though. I still think they could finish in the top 4 or 5, but right now I have to have them at number 6.
Dude, they have lost to a lot of teams underneath them.
Yep.
So, I mean, you gotta. Now it's crazy because I kind of agree with what you're saying about their talent and stuff like this, but for whatever reason, it ain't clicking for them right now.
And that's why their fans are calling for their head coach to be fired.
They're inconsistent, man. They are not playing consistently. They're not. This is probably the worst iteration of KU basketball that we've seen in the Bill Self era. So
I agree.
You gotta be objective here. So, let's go Baylor number 5. I mean, I think that's an
agree. I think KU will end up passing them, but for right now, I mean, they came back and beat KU. When they were down 19 to them at halftime, they came back and beat them.
Oh my God, the second half of that game was insane. They scored.
That's got to stand for something, right? And so,
holy crap!
For right now, I have Baylor ahead of KU, but I think at the end of the season, KU will be ahead of Baylor. So,
Baylor did to Kansas what K-State did to who was it? Or was it what team was down by 20 and then came back? Was it K-State? Was it a K-State game? I thought there was.
K-State was down 15-0 to Arizona State and came back and won.
No, I thought there was another game.
18-2.
Was it the Iowa State game? Maybe
We were down 9 in the first 5 minutes, and then
I
came
can't.
back
I
and won
can't
one.
remember. I can't remember the game. There was another game where there was a team down by like 20, and then they came back.
I don't
All
know.
right. Number 4. I'll let you go first this time.
I'm going to go Iowa State because of how they're playing right now. They finally did win against TCU. I don't know why this keeps moving. But I think they have a shot to finish even higher than that. But this is the power rankings based off how they're playing right now. They lost by 19 at home to K-State. They lost at KU by double digits. They lost at Arizona, 3 straight before losing or winning against TCU. I would say at number 4.
Mm-hmm. I think, and this might be sort of a hot take, but I think that the last 4 in the elite category are going to just be the current standings.
Not for me. Not for me.
Really?
Not for me.
Oh. I'm going to call it just the current standings. I'll go that route, and we'll see what you do.
Okay. All right. So I got bullied into this. And also, I think that, once K-State, I don't know what day you're watching this. Right now, everyone is watching it live, but anyone watching it on the replay, hopefully K-State gets a win against Arizona. They had to get into overtime at a 75-foot shot to get to overtime against Iowa State to win. They're on a heater. They started 6-5, and they're 11-1 since. They're on a heater. At some point, all good things end. I think Arizona's going to lose to K-State. I think they're going to lose a couple more games as well. I think Texas Tech is playing some of the best basketball in the entire Big 12. Yes, their fans may have bullied me into saying that, but they have a big win at Houston. They have a couple other big wins as well. They didn't play very good at K-State. K-State should have won that game, but they didn't. Good teams find ways to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh my gosh, I don't know how it keeps moving. And then, of course, like I said, Houston's the best team in this Big 12 right now.
Yeah.
Number 1. So that is the power rankings for me. Kenny, any thoughts on this?
No, I don't disagree with your power rankings. At least in the with Texas Tech being swapped. I feel like people get so emotional over like one position in a power rankings. It's
Right.
like we're not saying you're number 16. We're saying you're 3 instead of 2 or and they're interchangeable.
By the way, yeah, like my thoughts of putting Arizona at 3 does not automatically mean that Texas Tech moves above them in the standings. Like wins and losses matter more than my opinion. Just based off how they're playing right now, I think that Texas Tech is playing better basketball.
Right. K-State is on a 5-game win streak. They're playing like some of the best basketball in the country, and they're the gatekeepers in the Big 12 right now because of what they did early in the season. But it's like, hey, you have to take that in consideration, right? But if they have quite literally found their identity and they win out the rest of the season, it's like, look at this power rankings now. They could be in the top 4.
Yep.
But so we're not saying that Baylor or KU can't make a run for it. We're not saying that at all, but it's just where we're at now currently. It's just the power rankings of this week. Did Texas Tech win this last weekend?
Oh yeah. They've won a bunch of games in a row.
Yeah. They're just dominating currently. So this is like we've said this 1,000 times. This is a gauntlet. This is a very tough conference. Everybody can take wins off of everyone unless you're Colorado.
Sorry, clearly. They just lost by 9 to Arizona. So Arizona fans are going to be pissed.
Yeah, I thought they lost, man. I thought they did lose.
They had won 7 in a row before that, though.
Yeah,
but it was at Arizona.
Who has the current longest win streak in the Big 12? Is K-State? All right,
K-State. Because Houston just lost like a week ago.
Yep. So, all right. Well, that's the power rankings.
Cannot wait for Arizona fans to go off in the comments, but hopefully K-State beats them. So
it's justified.
It's justified. So, yeah. Well, Kenny, Kick W says screw Arizona.
Right.
Kenny, I don't have anything else to talk about on this pod. It was a pretty good one. I know you got something going on, and I got something going on as well. So I think it's probably about time to end it. But do you have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just subscribe to the channel, and I'm sorry that I upset so many of you for shaving my face today. I will never do that again, I guess. Sorry.
I need to trim my beard. My beard is looking gross, so I need to trim it. But I'm not shaving it like you. I can't go. I can't do that. I can't do it. So, well, thanks everyone for watching. I'm CVB. This is Kenny G. There's just one last thing to say, Kenny.
Go Max Jones.
Jones. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Yeah, I'm eating purple. I'm eating purple.